So we're going to investigate this third one. So it says cross a brown-haired person, big B, little b, with another brown-haired person, big B, little b. So brown hair is our phenotype, and our genotype are this heterozygous. So this is our genetics, and our phenotype is what they look like. So they're going to look like they are brown hair. And so if we keep going with this, we've got to somehow create a Punnett square and try to figure out exactly what all of this ends up meaning. And so if I have a Punnett square, and it doesn't matter to me if you decide to do first parent on top or whichever, but I'm just going to do, we'll call this first one, I don't know, mom, and we'll call the second one dad. It really doesn't matter because they are the exact same thing. So if my first one is big B, little b, and then I'm going to take my one from the side, so big B, little b, and so I'm creating my Punnett square. And so if I'm trying to, I'm just going to take my top down, so big B, top down, little b, little b. Now we're going to go across big B, and little b, little b. Now this does look a little funny because you usually put the capital letters first, so I'm going to fix that. It's just more like how you use a capital letter at the beginning of a sentence. So we're just going to make it look a little bit better. So if we're trying to figure out our phenotypes and our genotypes, so we already know about that right up here, where our genotypes and phenotypes, and then we also know that both parents are heterozygous because they have different letters. So both parents are heterozygous. So now if we've got to figure out what is our genotypes, what are our phenotypes. So if we're looking at their phenotype, so phenotype is what do they physically look like. So they are either going to have brown hair or they're going to have red hair. So if I'm looking at mine, the dominant allele is going to show through. So in this case, big B, this is going to be brown because we know brown is dominant. This capital letter is going to show through, so this one is brown. Capital letter is going to show through on this one, so it's going to be brown. And we've got a recessive allele right here, so 2 lowercase, so this one's going to be red. So if I'm trying to figure out what's going on, we've got 1, 2, 3, and remember this is the likelihood, the percentage. It's not, they're not having 3 or 4 kids. This is how likely it is to happen. So 1, 2, 3. So this is 3 out of 4, or 75% will have brown hair, and 1 out of 4, or 25%, will have red hair. Now let's get into their genetics. So what are their genetic combinations? So their genotypes. Well, I could have homozygous dominant, so big B. I could have heterozygous, big B, little b, or I could have homozygous recessive, which is little b. So if I'm looking at this, I've got 1 out of 4, which is 25%. We've got 1, 2, so for heterozygous, 2 out of 4, or 1/2, is 50%. And we have 1 lone right there, 1 out of 4, or 25%, is going to be homozygous recessive. And you should notice that they should add up to being 100%.